Let's move on to the demo section, right? So uh, I'm going to log into Microsoft. Okay, so here we are under Microsoft Purview portal, right? So uh, if I were to click on the solutions, I can see um, all the solutions within um, the Microsoft Purview portal, right? So just to give you some details about uh, each of these solutions, right? So AI Hub, it helps make it easier to manage and use AI across the organization. Audits sort of helps with tracking and logging data activities. So it makes it easier to manage and ensure compliance, spotting any potential issues. Communication compliance, we discussed it before. It helps with monitoring emails and chats for policy compliance and helps to catch and correct any inappropriate or rule breaking communications. Um, Compliance Manager provides tools to manage and track compliance with regulations. It guides you through the different compliance tasks and shows how well you're meeting with requirements. uh, Data catalog, uh, I'll be demoing this, but at a high level, it helps to organize and manage information about your data, therefore making it more usable. Data lifecycle management helps with uh, managing data right from creation to deletion, helps uh, data when it's stored as well as deleted, and does all of it according to rules. Data loss prevention prevents sensitive data from being shared inappropriately, um, protects your confidential information, and helps avoid any data breaches. E-discovery sort of makes it easier to gather necessary information from different places for investigations or for legal cases. Um, Information barriers, it restricts data sharing between different teams and prevents conflicts of interest by uh, stopping sensitive information from being shared where it shouldn't. Protection, the information protection part of it kind of helps keep sensitive information safe, right? Helps with that information protection and ensures only authorized people can access it. Risks management monitors employee actions to spot potential risks, right? And records management, it ensures records are kept and disposed of properly, helping with compliance and organization, right? It manages records through its entire life cycle, right? So each of these different solutions are a webinar topic on itself, right? Over the course of next 1 year, we will go through each of these solutions in detail, right? And we will have demos um, to cover each of these different solutions to get a working understanding of how all of it works, as well as some best practices around it, right? But for at a high level overview, I'd like to go into the data catalog uh, piece. I've discovered data from different sources. So if I were to go on to data assets and do a select star, right, show me everything that you have here. I can see that there are around 39 plus results. Um, Now, these are called assets, right? Order processing, marketing, right? And then these are called the asset types, right? So order processing and is an asset of business process asset type, and business process asset type is a child of the business asset type, right? So business contains, the business process is something that's more business in nature, right? And order processing is the asset. Similarly, um, marketing is an asset that is of a data domain asset type, and data domain asset type is a data asset, right? So, so this is how they are linked. So data domain contains marketing as an asset, right? So this is how we can look at it. So um, there is a possibility to filter it by asset type or the source that it originates from, right? So here, as we see, the different sources from which we have discovered these assets, are from, say, Azure Blob Storage, Data Lake Storage, Azure Files, or Azure Table Storage. So these are the source types that they originate from, right? So if I were to click on order processing, I can, we discussed earlier during the webinar that this particular when you can search for different assets and at the same time understand it better by the context or the metadata or the attribution it has, right? So for example, order processing is an asset which has been described here, so we can understand the description for it. There are no terms currently added for this particular order processing, but if we were to enrich it further, right? What's an order, right? So we can have glossary terms that talk to or link to this particular business process. Right? We can see that the status is candidate. That means it's um, this is its endorsement, right? So it's currently in the candidate status, but the objective is to go from candidate to accepted. If this business process was no longer used in future, then it can go to a deprecated status, right? So if I were to go to contacts, I can see that no experts are present for this particular business process, no owners, right? But it has one steward, right? So if I want to just add um, uh, uh, myself instead of stewards as an owner for this business process, all I have to do is edit it, go here, delete it, and then add Pratik Nilkund here, right? So I can see myself under the owners section, and then if I want to enrich it, right, I can enrich it by adding more relations or changing the description and providing status, and I'm just going to go and give it an accepted status. So if I save it, now I can see that uh, right, order processing has a status of accepted, and if I go to contacts, it's Pratik is the owner now, right? So going back to the search result, right? Now this is with respect to order processing, which is a business process. It has overview and contacts. But if I were to look at, say, a storage account, right? Azure storage account, like connections migration, right? I can see overview, properties, as well as contacts here, right? So under the properties section, we have the name, the qualified name, the resource group, the subscription ID, and the location for it. Similarly, if I go to contacts, I can see that there are no experts or owners here. Yeah, I can share the data, right? So all of this is possible within the data catalog portion. I can see the hierarchy for it. So if it was a column, then the hierarchy would have been something like a server contains database contains schema contains table contains column. So all that hierarchy would have been established here, but here I can see, so based on the type of the asset, your the metadata and the context for it can be customized, right? So going back to the search results, um, so there are about 39 search results here. Like most of it I see are the Azure storage accounts, and then there is a marketing data domain also. If I were to click on a marketing data domain, I can see um, again there's an owner assigned, but it does not have a description or anything, right? So this is the data catalog, right? It has an overview section, discovery, a catalog management portion, and a health management portion as well, right? So again, when we cover data catalog in more detail, we'll go through this particular uh, solution in more detail, right? Let's head over to solutions and let's look at data loss prevention, right? I'm going to the policies section here. Here you can see all the policies that are present. Many of them are uh, out of the box. It comes with the licensing itself, but there is a way to create a new policy, right? So you can create a new data loss prevention policy to help identify and protect your organization's sensitive information. Um, so here's an example of a custom policy. I'm just going to edit this policy now. And so it goes through either you're creating or you're editing a policy, it needs to go through the same workflow where you start with name, admin units, location, advanced DLP rules, policy mode, and finish. Right? When I'm not going to make any modifications here, but just at a high level, right? You add the name of the policy, the description of the policy. Um, uh, go to the next page. Right. So you have to choose the admin units you would like to assign this policy to, and these units are created in Microsoft Entra ID and restrict the policy to a specific set of users or groups. Right. So if I want to add or remove admin units, I can just click this, right, and I can search for it. If I want to currently, if you see that it's applied to full directory, right? So um, I'm going to go to the next section now, and I can see the locations where I can apply this policy to, right? So currently exchange all groups, right? This is the scope. This is the location where I can apply the policy to. If I want, let's say I want to narrow the scope or broaden the scope, there is an opportunity to do so. I can go to specific groups and include the relevant groups here. I can go to all groups, all right, and then I have broadened it to the uh, uh, most scope that it can take. And then I click on done here. I currently only 3 options are selected, as you can see: Exchange email, SharePoint sites, and OneDrive accounts, right? So I'm just going to click on next now. Um, okay, we have applied the locations, but now I'm going to see that I can create rules, right? What are the conditions and actions that define the data protection requirements for this policy? Here I can see that the rule is that so high volume of sensitive information shared externally as well as low volume of sensitive information exchanged externally. I'm going to click on and edit here, and I can see that, all right, it applies to detects when content is sent in email message, Teams chat, or channel message, or shared in a SharePoint or OneDrive document, but it applies with people outside the organization, and these are the sensitive information types that it talks to, right? The debit number, US bank account number, US driving license, and all of that. I can have notifications to inform users and help educate them on how to properly use sensitive information. So all of this is possible here. notify the user who sent, shared, or last modified the content, right? So basically some housekeeping around it. But the most important part here is also the sensitive information type. If I want to edit it, right, I want to add more sensitive information types, I can add more sensitive information types as well. Okay, I'm going to cancel it for now. Okay, so all this is possible. I can add more conditions if I like. I want to uh, have this rule, I want to make this rule a little bit more complex and use a combination of, either an AND gate or a gate, and, make it a little complex. I can do that. I can edit the rule, but I'm not changing anything. I'm just going to go to the save option here and go to next. Uh, there's an option to test the policy in a simulation mode. There is an option to turn the policy on immediately and or leave the policy turned off, right? For the uh, sake of this demo, I'm just going to turn the policy on immediately, right? And not changing anything here, not modifying anything here. Going to next, quickly reviewing the policy, right? We went to the whole workflow. So here I can see the name, the description, the location that applies to the policy settings, or the rules or the conditions that are set for this policy. Let me seen here. And if you want to edit any of the points, we can do that and turn the policy on after it's created. I can select it, yes. And now I'm going to submit it, right? I can see now that the policy has been updated, right? So, and data loss prevention policy has been updated. And the next step is to monitor alerts to review if the policy matches, right? So alert management is something. If there is a violation or anything, then we can track it there. For now, I'm just going to select done, and that brings us again to this to the policy section here, and I can see that the status is on. It was last modified on September 16th. Because now during the demo I did not make any changes, so it did not reflect today's date, but the date when it was last modified, right? So similarly, there are other policies that have its own locations, conditions, rules, right? And we can customize it or make it as broad as possible. Okay, so all right, so this marks the end of the demo for the second solution, data loss prevention. Again, if you are interested, there is a survey question also you must have seen that talks to um, which solutions interest you the most. And if you were to kind of let us know the solutions that interest you the most, we can always set up